All right, well, right now joining me on the line is one Chris Soriano. And there he is, Chris Soriano. Hey, buddy.
Alex, what's going on, my man? How's it going?
We're good. I've been talking all day on Blog Talk Radio or all night about how I want people to call up and say what they want their year to be remembered. And, you and I work closely in the studios of AM 970, and I've got to believe that's one thing you're remembering this year by.
Well, yes, I absolutely. Started as a producer and a master control board operator at AM 970 and WMCA in 2015. I started to find out the station, the whole thing, me being a talk junkie, and I turned on 970 and Dennis Miller was on, and I just got grown to the station. I was looking for opportunity in radio. I had messaged you. I found you on Facebook. Messaged you and messaged Frank Morano, emailed a few people. I finally got my shot in, was able to
By the
be
way, that's normal for people.
op.
In radio, that's normal where people just search each other's out because we're all trying to do big things in radio. So, of course, you see a name here, you see a name there, you want to connect with them. And, Chris, we did that 5 years ago now already. That's insane. And then I remember when you first...
Doesn't it seem like it was yesterday, too? It's so awesome.
Like an eternity, to be honest with you. But I'm so glad. I am so glad you're with us now. And obviously, sports. You're a sports guy. You're posting a lot about sports. Give us your thoughts on two things. You're a Jet fan. Todd Bowles is finally gone.
Well, you know what? This is the greatest thing that I have heard in a long, long time in terms of the Jets organization. And I remember when Rex Ryan was fired. And I remember saying to myself, you know what? We kind of underachieved. We had the great first 2 years, and then other than that, nothing. But the Rex Ryan era was fun. It was exciting. There was something going on all the time. Whether it was good or bad, we were in the headlines. The Todd Bowles era may be the most boring era I have ever witnessed as a fan of the New York Jets. I mean, this guy was horrible. He could not coach. Solid defensive coordinator in Arizona. I get that, but it just did not translate to a head coach. He was 10-5 going into that game in Buffalo to punch the Jets to the playoffs. They were having a great year, and he totally did not have the team prepared for that game. Rex Ryan got his team up in Buffalo. They trampled them, and they were 14-35 since that game. I mean, he has done absolutely nothing. 2-5-11 seasons, 4-12 today. And Alex, they gave today on him, 38-3. I know it's the Pats. I know New England is New England. Brady's Brady. Foxborough is Foxborough. You got to do a better job than 38-3. I think this is the move that they had to make. I mean, he's done nothing anyway. But you have the quarterback in place now. And now you got to get the pieces. You got to get the head coach to groom this guy. And I'm kind of not sold on the GM either. And this is a point, Alex, and I don't know if you'll agree with me on this.
Sure.
But Mike McCagnon dangled $90 million in front of Kirk Cousins to have Kirk Cousins become the quarterback of the New York Jets. Did you see what Kirk Cousins did today in a big game for Minnesota at home against the Bears? Totally dropped the ball again. Cousins choked in a big spot again.
And the Eagles make the playoffs with Nick Foles. I mean, this is how crazy the NFL is today. We've got the Eagles making that second spot, I guess, instead of the Vikings. And it's like you couldn't predict anything about this year. You couldn't predict that. And of course, I don't think Minnesota predicted Cousins to be as bad as he was. But you know what? For a guy that screams you like that every damn win, it's about time he got humbled and had a slice of humble pie. And I guess he got up in Minnesota this year.
Well, you know what? I tell you right now, that's my point on McCagnon. That's a good point you made about the uncertainty of the NFL this year. But in terms of McCagnon, back to what I was saying about him is that if he's going to dangle that money to Kirk Cousins, this guy should not have any say on any free agents or any trades coming into this team at all anymore. If you're going to dangle that money to that guy, thank God Kirk Cousins said no to New York and went for the money, because it's just horrible. But there's two quarterback situations that really, really interest me. One is in Baltimore, which Lamar Jackson, I mean, they just took off with him. You've had a guy there in Joe Flacco. People used to call him elite. He's won a Super Bowl. What is Joe Flacco's future in Baltimore? Because Lamar Jackson has just been a godsend to this Baltimore team. And then, like you said, great point bringing up the Eagles, Alex. I mean, Carson Wentz, I mean, this team was left for dead. Carson Wentz just sabotaging this team, and then Nick Foles comes in and does it again. Want my honest opinion? These Eagle fans should shut the hell up and embrace Nick Foles, because Carson Wentz, he's injury-prone, and he ain't that good.
No, I think the Eagle fans love him. I think the management needs to calm down on making him a free agent every year, especially after what he did last year, and it could be part two. And I know Giant fans are going to kill me over this, Chris, but I want the Eagles because I like what Foles does. I don't like the Philly fans, but I like the organization. I think these guys that are on there now, respectable guys. You have Ertz, you got Doug Peterson, and you've got Mr. Foles, and they're all religious-based as well. They're faith-based, and they bring that to the field, and that's kind of why I'm rooting for them, because they know who's on their side. And, I mean, God, they had to have that help against New England, right? So maybe they do it again this year.
You are a better man than me, a Giant fan rooting for the Eagles, because I will never in my life root for New England, ever. I don't think I ever have, and I don't think I ever will. And you know how funny it was that you had Steelers fans today rooting for the Browns?
And the Browns could have been an over 500 team this year. That's how even crazier it is. Really quickly, before I let you go, last night, buzzer beater at Prudential Center. The Devils are exciting this year. Don't get me wrong. I mentioned them because you're a Devil fan. I know that. But Seton Hall is just as exciting, wouldn't you say?
You know what? Seton Hall, I love college basketball. I wasn't into it for a long time. I've gotten into it the last couple of years. Obviously, I'm more into it during March Madness. But the games are exciting. They're so much better than NBA games. I mean, so much better. I don't think people even know how to play defense in the NBA anymore. But these college basketball games are so exciting. Seton Hall is having a great year. That was a great game against the St. John's team that came into the game 12-0. And it's nice to see these local teams doing well. It's good for the tri-state area. Seton Hall is having a great year. St. John's, we know what they're doing. And even Syracuse is 9-4 so far. So all three local, big-time programs, if you will, in college basketball locally, they're having a great year. And that game last night, I was listening to the game a little bit on AM 970, and then flipping between AM 970 and AM 570 with the St. John's feed. And then I got home, actually watched the last 3 minutes on television. Incredible game. I mean, and they're so fun to watch, Seton Hall. That's a good program, good young program. They'll be good for a couple more years to come.
And the best part of it was Chevelle Reynolds' father on Twitter giving his son kudos. That was pretty emotional to watch and read online. But anyway,
That's
Chris,
awesome.
Hey, here's to a great 2019. What are your resolutions?
You know what? Resolutions. You know what? I think I've done them every year for the last couple of years, and they never come out. Just a New Year's resolution: just work harder than I did in 2018. The hard work paid off in 2018. Sky's the limit. Keep working harder. Keep grinding harder. And I have a feeling 2019. A couple more things going to be coming into place for me. And I am so excited about that. 2019 cannot come soon enough, my friend.
Amen to that. Hey, Chris, we'll let you go, but thanks so much for joining me on Keeping It Real tonight on actually Blog Talk Radio. Throwing it back tonight. We'll be back and taking your calls right now.
Hey, listen, real quick. I want to say this before I leave here. You do such an incredible job. You're so full of positivity. I mean, really, the one guy that just positivity rolls right off of you. Just keep up, all of your positivity, all your ways of doing radio, and just keeping people upbeat and bright. You do a great job at this. You do a great job in the podcast. You're growing every day. By the way, Soriano Network for me on YouTube. Subscribe, please. But Alex, you do a great job. And keep it up, my man. You do a great podcast. And again, keep being positive.
Chris, I love you, brother. Thanks so much for joining us today. And by the way, if you'd like to give me a call, 845-241-9943. That's 845-241-9943. I'll be call screening and answering your calls at the same time. We'll be right back on Keeping It Real.